sir.
Call the meeting order tonight. We have a quorum present. Tonight we'll be led in the invocation by Pastor Vince Smith from Cross Point Baptist Church in Sioux Falls. After the invocation, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, so I'd ask everyone to please rise.
Would you join me as I pray? Our Heavenly Father, we come here this evening so thankful for your constant love and care and provision for us. And Father, for this week, for Christians, our holiest week, a day that we remember St. Patrick and his love for his captors, and the week that we remember what your own Son did for us on the cross and showing us what it meant to be a servant. Father, we're reminded that to be a servant is to be the greatest of all. And Lord, I thank you for these, your public servants that are here, Father, those on the council and the others that are here tonight. Lord, I pray your blessings on them and your continued watch and care of them, Lord. May you guide them in all they say and do. I ask this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll get started here. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved, Litz.
Second, Let's move. Jameson seconded. Further comments on the motion to approve? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve the consent agenda, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh? Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
All members present voted. The consent agenda has been approved. 7 yes, 1 excused. Is there a motion to approve the regular agenda?
I so move Knutson.
Knutson moved. Is there a second?
Second, Benninger.
Benega seconded. Further comments on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion for the regular agenda, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh? Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
All members present voted. The regular agenda has been approved. 7 yes, 1 excused. Now is the time that we set aside a period of 5 minutes, and we ask you to give us your name and your address.
Good evening. My name is Kenny Halbreder. I live at 900 West 10th Street, and I'll be very brief. Last week, after I spoke about my sidewalk removal issue, Dave Skanke gave a distorted representation of what happened, citing 10 days' notice, 5 inches of ice, and so forth. I visited over the weekend with Kermit Staggers, who was gracious enough to go through the timeline and all the information and the input that I have tonight. Just some new information. And just to review very briefly, this tag was placed on my door on the 15th, Friday. On the 16th, I saw it, and I started working, tried to clean it up. By Wednesday, it was 19 below zero, and I wasn't getting very far. The Scott lawn people showed up and informed me there's going to be a $400 bill probably to clean my walk. I said, well, who ordered this? And they said, Dave Skanke. Well, how do I get a hold of him? He gave me a number. I called him, reviewed the situation, said I was willing to work, do whatever I needed to do. There's 2 feet of snow on the street. He says, call the street department, which I did. They cleaned it out within a couple of hours. Then I bought 120 pounds of ice melt, spread it out, things started to work. The next day on Thursday, I called and talked to him about working with me. I said, I really appreciate it. I thanked him. I said, the ice melt is working. I'm going to be getting this done as soon as I can. And on Friday, without warning, he had the sidewalk cleared. Now, it was a misrepresentation last week. He said just the reverse, that he gave me notice that he was going to do it, and he couldn't wait any longer. But it was already cleared and done. When I called him on Friday at 2 minutes to 5, on the 22nd, after being gone on my birthday thing, he said, I said, where are you going to work with me on this thing and help? I'm willing to do whatever I need. And he said, well, I got tired of waiting. You will be receiving a bill. I got this bill last week, $353.77, and Kermit has a copy, and he's read this thing through. But I want to read you one line in here. They had offered me a payment plan, $67 payment plan. It says, if you wish to accept this monthly payment plan, contact Dave Skanke, Public Parking, before 5 p.m. today, the 17th, 2 hours before this meeting. If you do not contact him by this date, the full amount of the invoice will be due and payable, and it will be subject to interest, and the 30-day period starts on the 10th. My feeling is that there's an attempt to use fear and intimidation and coercing me into paying a fine or a fee or whatever you want to call it that I don't think I deserved. I don't think that they needed to be called. I think he erred in judgment. I had a verbal agreement that he was going to work with me. So that's my message. Does anybody have any comments or questions?
Kermit?
Yeah, yeah, Kenny, I saw that letter saying you have to make a decision 5 o'clock today, 2 hours before the city council meeting. I kind of wish they hadn't have had that date and time. But also I noticed on the letter, too, they said they want to charge you interest. Does it say anything about how much interest they're going to charge you, or?
Yeah, I don't quite understand what you're getting at.
Is there any, they said that you're subject to being charged interest.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
if there's interest, if I don't pay this, in other words, I had to decide by 5 o'clock tonight to pay $67 a month, or that's going to be $353.77 plus 1.25% interest.
Okay,
It starts at the 10th of April. Going to be charged interest on this amount due.
okay. That's per month, I assume, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any comments?
Thank you very much. Dave, do you want to talk about that letter?
Can I get some assistance on the overhead? Yes, seems like this issue won't go away. Dave Skanky, public parking. So I could give you a little background. I didn't go into all that detail last Monday, but actually we had a complaint. The complaint came in on the 12th, and that was through the contract system, an email. I'd like to read that email to you. The complaint came on the 12th. We had a lot of snow complaints. We gave him notice, gave Kenny notice on the 15th, and I believe you'll see that's what it looked like on the 15th. The complaint came on the 12th, so he had from the 12th to the 15th, which nothing got done. If you could go to that next picture. From the 15th, next time we went out and inspected it, there's the 20th. You can see there was some picking along the center, and I'd like you to take note of the bushes. So I'm going to address where the bushes are at down on the top left-hand corner. If you go to the next picture, that's the 22nd. You can see that by the chunks of ice, nothing was done from the 20th to the 22nd. You go to the next picture. It was later in the afternoon on the 22nd where we had it cleared. Now, I'd like to read the contract that we received through the city's contract system. And this was sent on February 12th. Let's just read the details here. There are some places that the property owners have not removed the snow off the sidewalks. 900 West 10th and some on the south side of 9th Street, in front of two houses in the middle block. I know the property owner at 900 West 10th is there because he shoveled from the house to the front walk, but stopped there. And there's a long stretch along 9th Street that is not shoveled. See, there's a long stretch along the, let's see. And there's some bushes, along the bushes, never get shoveled, and I have fallen there several times on that stretch. Now, that's sent through the contract system. So we have a complaint on a piece of property, and this person is asking us to enforce the ordinance. I've worked with Kenny. I've talked to him several times, and we've given him time, given him extensions, and we continue to do it. And finally, we get more questions and more complaints saying, why aren't you guys enforcing the ordinance? The ordinance says 48 hours. Kenny had from the 12th to the end, from when the first complaint came in, we gave notice on the 15th, and we cleaned it on the 22nd. So I guess the question is, at what point in time do you say enough time is enough time and the ordinance needs to be enforced? And we had a complaint of an individual that fell in that area. Now, I guess from our standpoint, we're being asked to enforce a city ordinance, code enforcement, that the council has approved and set forth and asked us to enforce, and we're enforcing it. How much time is enough? I guess that would be the question. And then I think Randy wanted to talk. Do you want to talk about the letter? And I'll answer any other questions you have.
I just wanted to point out, actually, that photo was on the 19th. Kenny actually admitted here again tonight that he saw the notice on the 16th when we left it on the 15th. So there was even 3 additional days there. So, and if you look back at that, the other dates there, even on the morning of the 22nd, you can still see that it's impassable. And the offer that we made to him was as a result of a meeting that we had set up that after the prior meeting, because he said that he did not have the money to come up with the $334. So we had offered him the ability to make monthly payments.
Kermit?
Yeah, Randy, when I saw that letter saying the deadline for him to make a decision is by 5 p.m. today, I guess I was a little concerned about the time and the date, being...
No, it shouldn't be a concern. What I tried to do for Kenny is we give him an offer the week prior to allow him to make monthly payments. And he told me he was going to get back to me, that he was going to talk to the city attorney and get back to me. I had not heard anything from him. What I did not want to do is drag this out into the middle of April, still not knowing what he wanted to do. Because the longer you can, or the sooner you can start making monthly payments, the lower your monthly payments are going to be, because this goes to the special assessments in September. So if he waits 2 months, it's not going to be $67. It would be, whatever the remaining months are divided by into the 334.
It's just an additional comment. Through my comments or my conversations with Kenny, several different times I suggested that he was unable to shovel the sidewalk or was unable to afford to do that. I gave him the telephone number of the Scoop It program. In fact, I gave him the number 2 times, told him to get in contact with them, get something set up, if not for this time, at least for in the future. And I guess the other issue is we had 2 sidewalk complaints on this same property last year that we had to address. And according to the contract, it's very obvious that there's an individual that walks there and is stating that the sidewalk just never gets done, and they're tired of it, and they want the ordinance enforced.
I don't have a question. I just have a comment. Mr. Skanke, I'd just like to thank you publicly for your very thankless work, because in the 5.5 years I've been on City Council, I regularly get complaints about, hey, Dee, why don't you people get serious? If you're going to pass ordinances, why don't you enforce them? And it was just a few months ago that the vice chair of the council and I were in the mayor's office during a leadership meeting, and we had an update on the incredible high number of calls we've had from citizens this year. And I know it's been a long winter. I understand that really well. But that our numbers are escalating as far as complaints, and people are not interested in falling on snowy, icy sidewalks and breaking their legs, hips, arms, or whatever. And I think your job is thankless. We passed the ordinance, and I think we should enforce it, and I think you've been very reasonable. And I'm sorry I was not here last week. I was out of town, but I listened through the Granica system to your testimony. Both my husband and I were very impressed with your testimony last week, and I am tonight too. And thank you for your work for our city.
Thank you.
Kermit?
Yeah, Dave, you mentioned that the contract system, that the person was talking about 9th Street.
They say 9th Street, it's 900 West 10th Street, which is Kenny's address.
Right.
Yeah, that's what the contract says. If I said 9th Street, I'm sorry.
Okay. Because the problem wasn't with the sidewalk on 10th Street, it's with Waltz.
There were several complaints in that area, in the entire area. As I said before, our staff does not go out and canvass areas looking for sidewalk snow complaints. It is by complaint. So when we talk about those 400 sidewalk complaints, individuals have called and complained about property owners not cleaning their sidewalks.
Okay. A second question I have a couple questions more. The orange card that he got, I think that was delivered on the 15th, is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah. And it gave him 24 hours to do this, is that right?
We leave an ordinance after we receive a complaint on the sidewalk. We do not accept complaints until 48 hours after the end of the snowfall.
Right, but then the card was delivered to him on the 15th.
That is correct.
9:30 a.m., and then said he had to have it done by
24
hours.
Yes.
Yes. Is that normal? I just don't know about this orange card. I've never seen one until now.
The ordinance says 48 hours. Legally, we do not have to leave a notice on the door. The ordinance says that we have to give notice in official publication, which we do at the beginning of each snow season. In fact, we give 4 notices in the Argus Leader in the before snow season. We also scroll the alert on the when the snow alerts come out, it scrolls on the bottom side of the TV to make sure you shovel your sidewalk. It also states it in the little snow pamphlet, the snow alert pamphlet that gets mailed to every citizen that has an address in the city of Sioux Falls. So we've gone above and beyond of what the ordinance says we have to do, and the orange card is really kind of your last, we're serious about it, and we'll still work with you, but you have to be reasonable that, how much time is enough.
Okay, and then that leads into the last question I have, and that's, Kenny has mentioned quite often when he has spoken before the council that he thought he had a kind of an agreement that you would be working together with on this, trying to get this resolved.
I probably talked to Kenny 4 or 5 times, and every day it was, Dave, I need another day. Okay, Kenny, I'll give you another day. Dave, I need another day. Okay, Kenny, I'll give you another day. Dave, I need another day. So you're talking about a verbal agreement. He had 4 or 5 of them. And finally, I have citizens calling and wanting to know, how come you guys aren't enforcing the ordinance? And I called Kenny. I said, this is enough. We're done. We're going to get it cleaned.
Oh, okay, now, I guess the impression I had from what he said before, he was very surprised when all of a sudden he comes home this one day and is completely clean, because did you tell him that, hey, forget it, Kenny, I'm done with talking with you, I'm going to have it cleaned tomorrow?
That's correct.
You told him that?
That's correct. Said I cannot wait any longer. In fact, we had at least 2 more complaints on the same address, and those individuals, when they talked to me, were not very happy. They wanted to know why the sidewalk wasn't done and why the city of Sioux Falls was not enforcing the ordinance that they had on the books.
So just once again to clarify, you told him,
I said I cannot wait.
I'm going to have it cleaned, and that's it.
I said I cannot
I've had
wait
enough,
any longer.
Kenny. I'm going to have it cleaned.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay. Further questions? Thank you. Others that wish to address the council for 5 minutes?
Can I ask
Name and
Kenny
address.
if he had any response to that?
Well, quickly, we've been on this for this is the third time.
I'd really appreciate it taking another minute. He just distorted the truth. That's not what happened. Wednesday, the situation occurred. Thursday, he said he would work with me. Without warning, he had that cleared and said that he couldn't wait any longer. And he didn't call me and say, we didn't go on with this day after day after day, and Kenny's begging for another day. There was only 3 days involved. The first day, I got the thing, that nice clear part came from they came out and plowed it. And the second day was Thursday. I put 120 pounds down and talked to him, and he said he'd work with me. So he broke a verbal contract, from my opinion. He's distorting the truth. Thank you.
Okay. Others that wish to address the council for 5 minutes, please.
Good evening. My name is Teresa Staley. You want my address? Is that correct?
Please.
1621 South Van Ness Avenue. And I'm here tonight as a citizen. I'm going to talk about snow, but in a little bit more of an upbeat issue. There's been a lot of talk about snow removal lately, and I wanted to talk about snow gates. And for those of you who don't know what a snow gate is, it's a device that you put on a snow plow, and as it comes to your driveway, it works by hydraulics. It comes down, and it keeps the snow out of your driveway. It also works to keep the snow out of the corner sidewalk areas, and it also scoops up the snow as it's coming through the intersection. Now, I learned about these snow gates about a year ago, and at the same time, I had heard that they are being used in Bismarck, North Dakota. The first part of January, I called Bismarck, and I talked for several hours with the Public Works Director in Bismarck, the fleet manager, and the man who actually has patented these snow gates. I found out from these gentlemen that in 2000, the citizens of Bismarck led a petition drive similar to the one we did last year with the Drake Springs Pool, and they forced the issue to a vote. It won by a landslide. It is now illegal for the city of Bismarck to put snow in a citizen's driveway, and the citizens love it. I then called the Henke Company, and you have their little brochure in front of you there, and they're out of Kansas, to find out how much it would cost to equip our motor graders and our loaders with snow gates. I then spoke with Mark Cotter, and I found out how many snow plows, public and privately owned, we use in our city during a snow event. And for around $480,000, we could make this happen in our city. I've been hearing things come out of certain council members about this, and I wanted to do some extra homework. I asked the creator of these if they work in cul-de-sacs, and he said they did. And he said cul-de-sacs are a challenge for any snowplow. And in fact, in Bismarck now, they're discouraging developers to build new residences with cul-de-sacs. These snow gates will work up to 12 inches of snow. And he told me today, I called again just to verify this, he said Lake Tahoe County had purchased one, which of course we know that's good ski country. They liked it so much that they purchased 6 more. They have a 10 to 15-year life expectancy. I have been visiting with many people about this great opportunity, and people are very excited about it. As I mentioned, I've given you all some information about this, and also on my website, www.teresasdaily.com, I have a video of these things in action, and it's really, really neat. So I'm just hoping in the future that the City Council will be willing to look at this important issue and implement it for the benefit of all of our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Bob, James?
I have a question for you, Teresa.
Yes.
Did the number that you received for snow gates include the contractors' graders, or just the
Oh,
city?
you mean, yeah, I asked Mark, you mean as far as the private owners?
Yes.
Yes, it did.
And would you require the private owner?
Well, now that's something we could work out, but these things can be taken off in, he said, about 15 minutes. So the number I gave, that 480,000, includes them in the equation. So that's something that could be negotiated. You know, would they buy their own? Would they use them from us? We'd want to find a place to store them. But I really think it's something that should be looked at and talked about. And again, I've been talking to my doctor. I mean, I got 1,200 signatures on my petition. I talked with those people. People are very, very excited. And I think it would be a great use of our taxpayer dollars.
Okay, thank you. Others that wish to address?
Mr. Mayor.
Okay,
Teresa?
go ahead.
Sometimes when they plow my road, they use a truck plow. Do they make these for truck plows?
Now, on the truck plows, he said they could put them on a truck plow. That would be something they'd have to kind of work at. That's not as common as the motor graders and there were the 2 things I think, let me see, I mentioned.
Loader, I think.
Front end loaders.
Loader.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But they're not as common.
Others that wish to address the council for 5 minutes, name and address. Seeing no one that's coming forward, we will move into the regular agenda, item number 7.
Special one-day liquor license for the Zoological Society of Sioux Falls to be operated at the Great Plains Zoo and Delbridge Museum of Natural History, 805 South Kiwanis Avenue, on July 31st, 2008, for the Jungle Jubilee. Item 8, special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for Philanthropy Promotions Incorporated, J&L Harley Davidson, for Hot Harley Nights on Saturday, July 12, 2008, on Falls Park West, with the north boundary of Falls Park Drive, south boundary to 8th Street, east boundary is to the chain link fence on the east side of the park, and the west boundary of Dakota Avenue.
Thank you, Denise. Lori Hogstad with the City Finance Office, representing items 7 and 8. And I do have the applicant here for item 8 if you have questions on that particular license.
Any questions of Lori on items 7 and 8?
I move for approval of items 7
Would you
and 8.
say Bob Jameson?
A question.
Sure.
And I see Don is not here, but I didn't think alcohol could be consumed in Falls Park except within so many feet of the restaurant down there.
I think that they can serve, it's liquor that can't be served. This is just one-day beer and one-day wine. And as long as, I'm trying to remember that whole when we changed that ordinance, but from my recollection, liquor, of course, could not be served, but one-day beer and wine could be with the proper application.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions? Others who wish to address council, item number 7 and 8? Not.
I move for approval of items 7 and 8, please.
Motion been made to approve items 7 and 8.
Second, Litz.
Litz seconded. Further comments on the motion to approve items 7 and 8? Seeing none, all in favor of that motion to approve items 7 and 8 will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
That motion passed 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 9.
Deferred action, second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, a major amendment, petition number 2007-12-31 to Chapter 15.45.070, Plan Development Districts at Lundstrom's Plan Development District, allowing changes in land use as reflected in the revised sub-area regulations. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
Good evening, Mike Cooper, Planning and Building Services, along with Steve Randall. This item had been deferred so that the property could be posted properly for the public hearing, and tonight we're ready to present this to you once again. This property is located in the northwest corner of the intersection of West 69th Street and Ralph Rogers Road. The property is approximately 2 acres in size. The applicant is requesting this amendment to allow the property to be used for either office or retail. The property was originally zoned to only allow for office use back in the early 1990s as part of what we call the Lundstrom Plan Development District. At that time, the property fronting along Ralph Rogers Road was restricted to only office, and then the property to the west towards Louise was allowed to be commercial. As again, this particular amendment would allow the development to be either office or retail. The applicant has been working with the neighborhood on their plans. They've had neighborhood meetings. They're showing a concept plan of a commercial C-store with retail and office tenant spaces. With approval of this amendment, there would be an additional final development plan hearing presented to the Planning Commission, and the applicant would be planning to have another neighborhood meeting prior to that final application request. And the Planning Commission did recommend approval of this amendment.
Questions of Mike on item number 9? Pat?
Mike, what's right to the east of that? Is that the twin homes or?
It's multifamily.
Multifamily?
Yes. It's multifamily, and then to the north is YWCA. And to the west is commercial.
Bob Jameson.
Mike, is fuel going to be an item at this C-store? Is that a possibility?
Of fuel?
Yes.
Yes, their proposed preliminary plan does show the sale of gas on this site.
Thank you.
Further questions of Mike on item number 9? Others that wish to address the council on item number 9? Is there a motion by the council to approve?
So moved, Litz.
Let's move. Is there a second?
Second, Jameson.
Jameson seconded. Further comments on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve item 9, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 9 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 10.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, transferring real property to the Affordable Housing Program as established by ordinance number 101-7.
I'm Dwight McElhaney with Community Development. The ordinance before you transfers 609 South Elmwood Avenue to, which is a city-owned property, to Sioux Falls Housing Corporation for development and Community Development's Neighborhood Revitalization Program. The city and the neighborhood will benefit by the removal of a structure contributing to neighborhood blight, by the development of an affordable housing unit, by increasing the tax base, and by increasing the number of owner-occupied homes in the area. Answer any questions?
Questions of Dwight on item number 10? Others that wish to address the council on item number 10? Is there a motion to approve?
Mr. Mayor, I guess I do have a question.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, so we're getting a house, right?
There's a structure on the property now, and that was a rental unit. It's not much of a structure, and we'll be raising that structure and developing a new house on there.
Okay. Do you know how much we're going to be cost for demolishing the structure and then also the new house that we're going to build? How much that's going to be?
Probably demolition will be in the area of $3,000, and the actual construction of a new house will probably be about $110,000.
How much do we anticipate selling the house for?
We'll try to get that $110,000 figure for it, somewhere around $110,000, $115,000.
Bob Litz.
Does community development have tipping privileges at the city landfill?
Yes, we do.
Very good, thank you.
Others, questions? Others that wish to address the council on item number 10? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve, Litz.
Litz moved. Is there a second?
Second, Benninger.
Benninger seconded. Further comments on the motion to approve? Seeing none, all in favor? Okay, go ahead, Kurt.
Yeah. I guess I'm a little wary about this one, but I don't want the city to lose money on this project. And I guess the testimony tonight is that it's quite likely we'll come through on this one. Is that right? Is that a fair statement?
Well, these projects are going to cost us money.
Okay.
It's expensive to buy these depressed properties. It just is, and then to tear them down. It's not like going out and finding a new platted property, where there are no costs associated with it.
So you can kind of say with certainty that we won't lose money on this, or?
Well, we will. There will be a gap.
Oh, we will lose money.
What I was talking about was the actual construction costs. We're not figuring in the value of the property that the structure's going on.
Okay.
Bob Litz.
Dwight, do you use community development block grants for some of this work?
This would be home funds that we use, but they are federal funds. The gap is covered by federal dollars, and this is
Very
available.
good. So this is not second penny sales tax?
No.
Very good. Thank you.
Kermit.
Well, I guess I'm sorry I'm going to have to vote against this, because whether it's federal money that's going to cover this, it's still taxpayer money, and we shouldn't be in the business of losing money on projects like this.
I would like to make a correction on that. Part of the gap as well is the $15,000 that does come from general funds that we use to acquire property. Now, in this situation, that's not the case because of how we acquired this property. But in other properties that you're talking about, that would be the case. And
Would your $15,000 come back into that fund when you sold the finished product?
no, it doesn't. That's part of our gap.
Very good.
And for the use of these federal funds, for projects like this, the city has to come up with a certain amount of matching funds, and we use those general funds as part of that match to meet our federal requirements.
When you sell a property, Dwight, where do those funds go back into?
The funds go back into our revolving fund, and we use that revolving fund to pay for the construction costs. And we try to keep that at a constant level, so we always try to recoup those revolving funds.
Okay, we got a motion been made, seconded to approve item 10. Further comments or questions? Not? All in favor of the motion to approve item 10 will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
No?
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 10 has been approved 6 yes, 1 no, and 1 excused. Item 11.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 101 North Blaine Avenue and amending the official zoning map of the city of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a request to expand an existing Super 8 motel, I should say, on East 10th Street, in addition to allowing the future construction of a second motel structure in this area. And the property would be rezoned to commercial to allow that to happen. The property that we're looking at changing is just under 2 acres in size, and it is located directly north of the existing Super 8 motel and would be adjacent to East 8th Street. The applicant is showing on a concept plan that the existing motel would be expanded to the north by approximately 18 to 24 rooms, and that the second building that would be added would have approximately 120 rooms. Along with that, there would be required parking. We've looked at this in terms of neighborhood impact, traffic impact. We believe that this is actually going to be an opportunity to improve this particular neighborhood area. And there would also be a conditional use permit required so that there would be another public hearing in front of the Planning Commission with a more specific site plan proposal. We did not receive opposition from the public on this, and the recommendation is to change the zoning to allow this motel expansion.
Questions of Mike on item 11? 12.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at southern boundary of the Lincoln High School campus and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is just under 5 acres. It's located adjacent to the existing Lincoln High School athletic field. It's abandoned railroad right-of-way that we were able to work out with a developer as a donation to the school district. And because it is unzoned, we are now changing the zoning to allow this to be developed with additional parking as well as athletic fields for Lincoln High School.
Questions of Mike on 12? D?
Mike, not a question, but congratulations on finally getting that done. I know you guys have worked hard on this for years. I can remember discussions about this topic soon after I went on council, and I think it's just going to be fabulous for Lincoln High to have more parking and athletic field. I just think it's just wonderful.
And I know that they're hoping to get this done for the fall football practice season. That's the hope.
Good job.
Kermit.
Yeah, Mike, it says that it's going to be from the unzoned district to the RS-2 residential district. Why is it residential district?
That's a zoning district that we use for other school properties.
Oh, it's not institutional or anything,
No.
huh?
Right.
Oh, okay.
So that would allow the uses that are proposed with this site plan.
Further questions? 13.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 600 South Valley View Road and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is an application by Friesen Construction, the owners of the site. It's about 7 acres of land that was the former site of the Hayward Elementary School, and they are proposing to rezone this to allow it to be used for industrial storage, as well as realigning Valley View Road through this property. And we've been working with the Friesen family for quite some time on this concept plan. Because of the soil conditions on this property, it really doesn't warrant any buildings with foundations. And so the use for light industrial as storage would be an appropriate transition of this property. And this is also being recommended for the approval of the zoning change.
Questions, Mike. Bob Jameson.
It's residential to the east of this.
Yes.
What type of berming or what is going to be used to
There would be, yes, there would be screening required, which could be fencing, landscaping, or a combination of those.
Kermit.
Yeah, Mike, you mentioned about Valley View Road being changed there. Are the property owners going to have to pay for that, or?
They will be paying for a portion of it, and I don't have the exact cost share, but I can find that out prior to the second reading.
Okay.
Further questions on 13? Let's go to 14.
First reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at South Ebenezer Avenue and West Graceland Court, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is being rezoned to allow a higher density of multifamily construction on this property. It's directly north of Skunk Creek, and it's in an area that's between Marion Road and I-29. There's a number of existing units within this area already, multifamily units, I should say. And I believe that we also have an action pending at a future council meeting to vacate some of the right-of-way in conjunction with this development. So this would allow the potential of about another 144 multifamily units in this particular area. Because of our new floodplain boundary maps that's impacting this property, they're going to have to raise it up, and so it's limiting the amount of buildable land that they have, which is why they've come up with a different concept plan that shows more units on a smaller footprint so they can maximize the use of their property that's not impacted by the new floodplain boundary maps.
Questions of Mike on item number 14. Let's go to 15.
First reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at West 17th Street between South Lake Avenue and Southwest Avenue, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is located on the west side of West Avenue, or I should say Lake Avenue, and it is owned by Sanford Medical. The proposed use is going to be for Ronald McDonald House that would have approximately 18 beds within the building, along with required parking. It is located directly north of another area that we recently rezoned for the Make-A-Wish Foundation office. And so we're trying to be consistent with this area by recommending that this would also be rezoned to office to allow the Ronald McDonald House to exist at this particular area.
Questions, Mike Kermit?
Yeah, Mike, I just assumed then that the Ronald McDonald House that's east of Augustana then is going to be closed?
I believe so. I
Okay.
believe they're looking for a larger
Okay.
facility.
Further questions? Let's go to 16.
First reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 7400 West 22nd Avenue and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a property that we have seen on a number of occasions, and it's an existing single-family residence located on the northwest corner of this intersection of 22nd and Sertoma. The property owner is Verlin Fast, and just to give you a little quick history, last June, the City Council was asked to consider this to be approved for a daycare center, which would allow more than 12 children to be occupied on this particular property. Prior to that, the applicant was using it for a family daycare or a daycare facility of less than 12 children. And the City Council made a decision at that time not to approve it because of neighborhood concerns with traffic as well as the requirement for that many additional children. So that was denied back in June of 2007. The applicant then came back through in August of 2007 with another request for a conditional use for an assisted living center, which was approved by the City Council. And that particular use was never started within this facility. And so now the applicant is coming through with yet a third request to rezone the house to allow it to be used as a duplex. We had quite a bit of neighborhood input at the Planning Commission hearing. The staff recommendation was not to approve it because we felt that when this development was originally laid out, it was very clear that the intent was to have it as single-family residential. And that's why the current zoning is the RS1, which is our most restrictive single-family residential zoning. There was a lot of neighborhood input into opposition to this. The Planning Commission did make a recommendation to approve the rezoning on a 4-3 vote, and so that's what's being presented to you as far as the petition. And I would expect that at the second reading we will have some neighborhood input, as well as the applicant will be here to give you a better explanation of what their intent is for this particular house.
Questions, Mike? Bob Jameson.
Mike, does he reside in that property, or is it rental property?
I'm not sure if he's residing there today or not. I'll have to find that out. But there's no requirement with this approval that it would have to be owner occupied. It could be two.
Right.
Both of the duplex units could be rental
Right.
units.
Other questions of Mike on item 16? Let's go to 17.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at northeast corner of East 6th Street and South Shepherd Avenue, amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is located on East 6th Street. It's just over 1 acre in size, and this was approved a number of years ago for the current zoning, which is office, and the applicant is now looking at changing it to multifamily, which would be consistent with the zoning directly to the west of this property. To the east is an existing church, to the north is single-family, and then to the south is vacant land that is approved for other multifamily residential development. We did not have neighborhood concerns with this request, and the recommendation is to approve the rezoning.
Questions of Mike on item number 17? Let's go to 18.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at southwest corner of East 69th Street and South Tallgrass Avenue, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is approximately 184 acres, owned by Sanford Medical, and it's the proposed site for their new medical research facility, located between Tallgrass Avenue and Interstate 29, and south of the intersection of Interstate 229 and 29, extending down almost to 85th Street, not quite that far south. A portion of this property had been previously zoned for a business technology park, and the balance of it is still zoned agriculture. We've been working with Sanford folks on a new zoning plan for this property that would allow all the uses that they anticipate being developed over the years as part of their medical research campus. We also anticipate that the south end of this property will transition into retail and office, extending eventually down and even south of 85th Street. So it's going to be a significant change to the area, both in terms of land use, traffic impacts, street improvements, and we've been talking with not only the petitioner, but also the DOT, Public Works, planning, all the different agencies involved in looking at the future traffic impacts of these particular land uses. But we believe that we can come up with a plan that will show how we're going to develop both infrastructure and street improvements that will allow this future use to continue over time as they look at building out their particular site. So we are recommending approval of this plan, and as they continue to come in for actual building permits, they will have to go back through Planning Commission for a final development plan hearing process.
Questions of Mike on 18, Bob Litz?
I have two questions of you, Mike. When will that Solberg overpass be finished? And then I also see that a heliport is an option that they're asking for in this property. And would that heliport, would it be transporting patients, or would it be merely for transporting of officials or business folks?
Okay, the Solberg overpass or crossing, we're looking right now with the DOT. We had hoped it would be in 2009, but it looks like now it might be more like 2010. But we are working hard to get that project in place within the next couple of years, not only because of this particular project, but also because of the business park development that's been occurring on the north side of I-229. And as far as the other use that you're talking about, I believe it's not only going to be for transporting non-patients, but depending on how the research facility would expand in the future. I think they're trying to leave their options open for whatever type of transportation would be required. But in terms of the research facility, I think at least initially, it's been talking more about non-patient transportation.
I guess one of my thoughts would be their competition up the street with the heart hospital, if they would have the availability of that helipad.
It certainly could be requested in the future. I know we've been meeting with representatives of the heart hospital, and they have not indicated that they have a need for that type of transportation.
Very good. Thanks, Mike.
Further questions? Bob Jameson.
Mike, one of the concerns that's been expressed been going on a long time, is access to 69th across the interstate. Is there a provision in how this is being laid out to provide for that?
Yes, this is another item that we're working with not only the petitioner, but also with the DOT and others to look at preserving a corridor that would allow the extension of 69th through this property across I-29. So yes, that is being accommodated within their future plans.
Mike, there's an engineering firm out of Omaha that was doing a study for the Department of Transportation for interchange access and that kind of stuff?
Right.
When will that be done?
We just met with them within the last few weeks, and I'll have to get that specific completion date for you, but it's, at one time they were talking May, which we thought was really too long. So I think we're working with them to get that, at least preliminary information, within the next 60 days or so.
Well,
but I'll get you a more specific timeline for the second reading, if that would be okay.
Please, yeah, that'd be great. I'm just curious, no matter what happens here, we'll have to know that information first, right?
Yes, we would know that information prior to any final approval of building permits. That's the intent.
Thank you.
Further questions on 18? Let's go to 19.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, a major amendment, petition number 2008-02-14 to Chapter 15.45.070, Planned Development Districts at 3600 South Southeastern Avenue, allowing changes in land use as reflected in the revised sub-area regulations and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
Okay, it'll be noted that Council Member Brown will be excused from the conversation on 19.
I'm sorry I sat down too soon. Okay, this is a request by Verizon Wireless for a telecommunications tower that would be designed as a flagpole. And I believe this is probably about the third one of these that we've seen come forward. And it seems like in the other locations it's worked out pretty well. The proposed site would be adjacent to the existing Four Hills Plaza, which is located along Southeastern Avenue and 49th Street. And this would be located in the northeast corner behind the existing building. The Verizon Wireless information that we've received so far indicates that this would be approximately 100-foot high pole that would be a flagpole design and would have to have a flag at all times and would have to follow the flag etiquette as far as how that would be used in the future. And as I said, we've done this before, and it seems to work out pretty well, but there seems to be a gap in terms of service within this particular neighborhood, which is why they're coming in with this particular location for the request.
Kermit?
Yes. Has Verizon, when they initially proposed this, did they propose a flagpole or not?
Okay. Yes, they did.
Okay. And the flag, do we require them to fly an American flag, or can they fly any flag they want?
It would be an American flag.
That's a requirement we have?
It's a flagpole, yes, for the American flag. Yep. I'm not sure what other flag would be appropriate on a flagpole.
State flag, city flag. POW flag.
Yeah, the intent would be the United States flag. That's what we've used in the other locations.
Further questions on 19? Not, wishes are such.
Mayor, I do have a question.
Pardon?
Mike, are the neighbors notified in any way other than just posting of signs?
I'll ask. Typically, they have neighborhood meetings, but we'll find out what
Okay,
they,
for second reading.
prior to second reading, if they've had one or if they will have one.
Thank you.
Is Vernon out there? If we could take items 11 through 18 and then vote on separately on 19, if he wants to be excused to see. We'll take 19 first, I don't care. See if he wants to. What we'll do is we'll take items 11 through 18 and set the hearing date for April 7th for those items, and then we'll take the other ones separately. So is there a motion to approve items 11 through 18 for the April 7th?
Yes, I make that motion, Knutson.
Knutson moved. Is there a second?
Second. Jameson.
Jameson seconded. All in favor of the motion to set the hearing date for items 11 through 18 for April 7th, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Okay, it'll be noted that Councilmember Brown will be excused from item 19. Is there a motion to set the hearing date for item 19 for April 7th?
So moved, Jameson.
Jameson moves. Second?
Benninger.
Benega seconded. All in favor of setting the hearing date for item 19 for April 7th, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
All members have voted, 6 yes and 2 excused. The hearing date for 19 has been set for April 7th. Let's move into 20.
A resolution reappointing an audit committee member to the audit committee.
It's just a reappointment. isn't it?
Yeah, this is a reappointment of Paul Ryder. Originally, when the audit committee was set up, there were staggered terms. He had the original one-year term, so it's a reappointment.
Other questions, others that wish to address the council on item 20? If there's not, is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve, Brown.
Brown
Second,
moved.
Costello.
Costello seconded. Further comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve item 20 will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello? Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
All members present voted 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 20 has been approved. Item 21.
A resolution of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the placement of a sculpture known as Eternal Century on public property.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and viewing citizens. My name is Russ Sorensen, representing the City Planning Office on this item. Before you this evening is a resolution to approve a placement of a sculpture known as Eternal Century on city property at Veterans Memorial Park. Special guests associated with this project and here this evening are representatives of the Disabled American Veterans Chapter Number 1, Mr. Dennis Adams and Mr. Clarence Koistra. I would also like to mention that Director of Parks and Recreation, Don Kearney, and John Jacobson, with landscape architect for Brian Clark and Associates, have had extensive involvement with this project as well. This sculpture art project, known as Eternal Century, was commissioned by the Disabled American Veterans Chapter Number 1 and sculpted by artist Dr. John Whiteman, with the intent to donate it to the city and place it in Veterans Memorial Park. The sculpture depicts a respectful and cultural expression of a battlefield cross, which honors and commemorates fallen soldiers who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms. Written information and photographs have been provided to you. As now proposed by the Disabled American Veterans Chapter Number 1, the sculpture is a bronze cast sculpture measuring approximately 50 inches in height, 14 inches in width, and weighs approximately 250 pounds. The sculpture would be placed on a quartzite stone pedestal, as you see, and would be measured approximately a total of 6 feet in height. Also proposed by the DAV is to have the sculpture's metal backplate removed, and in the exhibit before you this evening, they have done that. And it would be a separate pedestal also for a bronze plaque to recognize and serve as a dedication to those who have fallen. New landscaping would surround the sculpture, and the sculpture would be located in the park in the west, the Central Park area referenced as the Citizens Veterans Plaza and the amphitheater area. The sculpture and the placement meets the intent of the Veterans Memorial Park mission statement, has a military and patriotic theme, and conforms with the park's master plan. This is a proposed gift to the city, and no public funds are involved. Various boards and commissions, including the Veterans Memorial Park and Advisory Board, the Visual Arts Commission, and the Parks and Recreation Board, have all reviewed this sculpture proposal and its placement, and have unanimously and respectfully recommend approval of this sculpture and its placement. At this time, the representatives from the Disabled American Veterans Association, Chapter Number 1, may have a few words to offer. Otherwise, this concludes our presentation to you.
Questions of Russ on item number 21? Others that wish to address the council?
Dennis Adams. I'm the Assistant Adjutant for the Department of South Dakota in Chapter Number 1 in Sioux Falls. I have done the graphics work, and I do apologize for that. I just worked on it today. There was a death in my family, so I was kind of rushed, but so it may look as if the statue itself is displaced a little bit from the pedestal. But those are the actual stones that we would use.
Questions? Thank you very much for coming up. Appreciate your service.
Thank you.
Others that wish to address the council on item number 21?
Clarence Questra, 1505 South Hawthorne, Sioux Falls. I represent both the DAV and the Sioux Falls Veterans Council. And two comments. One, I would strongly hope that you could take positive action on this. We finally find a home for this eternal century. And secondly, I'd like to commend the Parks Department for maintaining the parks the way they have in Veterans Memorial Park. We do have some concerns eventually down the road. It's going to be bigger and better, and we plan on having a major reunion here this summer as well. The only thing I would say that down the road, I think we could probably work something out, and this was brought up on a different area today, on snow removal. And I know your parks would not always have a priority, but the Memorial Park this year has basically been shut down since mid-December up until about a week ago. And there are some people, disabled veterans and other veterans, people that come to the city of Sioux Falls would like to have access to that year-round. And I understand with the paving stones and et cetera, it's like walking on eggs in there, and they'd have to be very careful with their blade. But moving snow in the parking lots, this would be a concern. So again, I commend the city and the fine parks, and hope you can take positive action on this. Thank you.
Thanks, Clarence. Appreciate your service. Questions of Clarence? Others that wish to address council item number 21? Is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
I just wanted to thank the Parks Department and the City of Sioux Falls for providing that park down there. I'd never been there until earlier this year, and I went down there thinking I would just spend a few minutes, and I wound up spending about an hour and a half down there walking around. When this particular piece showed up here a while back, I know it was had some issues to get that through down there, but it has personal significance to me and others, and I've had other people call me and tell me that they really like this piece, and I'm just delighted that it wound up in that Memorial Park. And if you have the general public, if you haven't been to that park, go down there and see it. I guarantee you'll be touched. Thank you.
Is there further comments or motion?
Move for approval, Benninga.
Benninga moves. Second?
Second, Brown.
Brown seconds. Further comments on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion will vote yes. Those who vote opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 21 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 22.
A resolution of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the placement of sculptures on public property for an internationally recognized visual arts program known as Sculpture Walk, Sioux Falls, 2008.
Good evening again. Russ Sorensen with the City Planning Office. Along with me this evening is Mr. Jim Clark, who's the South Dakota Principal Manager for Excel Energy and the Director of Sculpture Walk. As a follow-up to your informational briefing a couple of weeks ago, Mr. Clark and I are here tonight seeking your support for the resolution addressing the 2008 Sculpture Walk program. Sculpture Walk is now an internationally recognized annual visual arts program in Sioux Falls. For the 2008 Sculpture Walk program, There were 133 entries received and juried by a jury panel. 56 sculptures have been selected. This year, the countries of Canada, the Czech Republic, and Denmark are represented. There are 4 artists from South Dakota. The Sculpture Walk program represents a broad collaboration of individuals and businesses, entities, both public and private, including downtown Sioux Falls, the Sioux Empire Arts Council, the Chamber of Commerce, and the City of Sioux Falls. Over 100 businesses and individuals contribute annually to the financial strength of Sculpture Walk, and over 50 volunteers help make Sculpture Walk a success. The exhibition of public art in our central business district is recommended and encouraged by various reports that have been done, and also in our 2015 downtown plan as well. City staff representing American Disabilities Act Advisory Review Board, Public Works, Engineering, Planning, and Risk Management, along with the Visual Arts Commission, have all reviewed and favorably recommend the 2008 Sculpture Walk program presented to you this evening. The program is significant in that it helps create a first impression for downtown visitors by bringing a large number of sculptures to the central business district for outdoor display. It simply enhances the beauty and the culture of our downtown area for all citizens and our visitors to enjoy. Your favorable support and action is requested for this program, which would allow 56 of the proposed sculptures to be placed on the public right-of-way or other publicly owned property. This concludes our presentation, unless you have questions.
Questions of Russ? Others that wish to address the council on item number 22? Not. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Let's
move. Seconded?
Second. Brown.
Brown seconds. Okay. Motion's been moved and seconded. Further comments on the motion to approve item 22? Not all in favor of that motion will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 22 has been approved 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 23.
A resolution including certain contiguous territory within the corporate limits of the city of Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
We have a petition from Ron Tisdall, the owner of this property, requesting annexation. This is about 70 acres of land that would be located south of Madison Street, west of Powder House Road, and just north of East 6th Street. The west side of this property abuts up against a development that's called Wild Meadows Edition. This particular area is proposed to be developed in the future with residential as well as commercial uses. It is within our service district, and we are recommending approval of this annexation petition.
Questions of Mike on item number 23. Bob Jameson.
Just for clarification, where is Highway 100 going to be in reference to this property?
The existing Powder House Road alignment will be the Highway 100 corridor within this particular area.
Yeah. Further questions on item 23? Others that wish to address the council on item number 23? Not. Is there a motion to approve?
Move for approval. Jameson.
Jameson moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Litz seconded. Further comments on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve item 23, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 23 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Let's move. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Benega. All in favor of that motion, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
We stand